Welcome to It's Happening in Grand Prairie. As many of you know, on November the 3rd, the voters of Grand Prairie will be deciding the future of the Crime Control and Prevention District sales tax. Police Chief Daniel Sesney joins us now to talk about the sales tax. Chief, how do we use this sales tax?
Yes, thank you for the question. So the crime tax, or the Ccpd, is a tax that we use to hire, train, and equip police officers. In Grand Prairie, our population is surging, which is a good thing, but to keep our citizens safe, we need to keep pace with about 1.5 police officers for every 1,000 residents. So to put that in perspective, over the last decade or so, we've increased by about 15%, probably more, and our crime has gone down to 44%. That is something we're very proud of, but it is because we have the personnel and equipment to keep our citizens safe. So the Ccpd tax, or the crime tax, or the community policing tax, as many are calling it, is something we use to keep our people safe. The other thing that the community policing tax does, or Ccpd, is it enables us to roll out a myriad of programs to our residents. Let me just touch on a couple quick ones. Our Unidos program, our Cops and Kids Fishing, Coffee with a Cop, our sex offender registration, our school resource officers. About 44 to 50 of our 286 current police officers fall under that Ccpd community policing tax and enable us to do all of those fantastic programs that really make us all better.
Chief, is this a new tax?
This is not a new tax. This is an existing tax, and what we're asking the voters is to consider renewing the existing tax. It is currently 8.25% is the sales tax, and it would remain exactly the same. Some consider the benefit being that crime in Grand Prairie is often imported from areas around us, and a sales tax disperses the cost of crime fighters to those coming into Grand Prairie to utilize our goods and services. As you know, Grand Prairie is now a destination location, so having people come in and enjoy our beautiful venues at the outlet, or the theater at Grand Prairie, or a fantastic horse racetrack, all of those areas charge sales tax, and those help fight crime when the crooks come in from other areas to commit crime in Grand Prairie.
What happens if it passes?
So if the Ccpd tax passes, you will continue to see a fantastic level of policing services with an overlay of a very robust community policing events and packages. So we have over 40 events that we do, in programs, more importantly, that do everything from get kids that are involved in the juvenile justice system out of it with our help mentoring program. We have our COPE program, which is designed to help keep our residents out of mental health crisis and avoid these interactions with police when they're in a really trying time in their life that can sometimes be dangerous. I mentioned Unidos, Midnight Basketball, our school resource officers. I mean, we have over 40 programs that will continue to serve our residents, but also we have a few more that are on the horizon that we're very excited about that we'll be able to help fund with this community policing Ccpd tax.
What happens if it fails?
Well, the good news is you have very proactive police officers in Grand Prairie that are going to continue to go out each and every day to ensure our community is safe. That I can guarantee you. If the Ccpd tax does fail, then our elected officials will be faced with a couple options. One, about $8 million will have to roll back into the general fund in order to continue to fund all the services that are currently being offered by the police department. They could consider raising property taxes between 4 and 6 cents per $100 of taxable value, or we can make some significant cuts. Any of those are options, and that will be up to the voter to decide which direction they'd like to go.
How can voters find out more information?
Yes, so our voters can go to gptx.org elections. That will give you all the details and nitty-gritty for you to make an informed decision on which direction you'd like to go on November 3rd, Election Day.
Thank you for joining us, Chief, and we'll be right back.
Habari gani? Jina langu ni Frank Obudo. Natoka Nairobi, Kenya.
Oi, meu nome é Marcos e eu sou brasileiro.
Hello, my name's Samantha. I'm a veteran and a mother.
Xin chào, tôi tên là Thái và tôi đến từ Việt Nam.
Hello, I'm Brandon and I sang opera professionally.
Hi, my name is Robert and I play pro football. And I am a Grand Prairie police officer.
And I'm 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 Daniel Cesny, father, Marine Corps veteran, and Grand Prairie Police Chief. And like all Grand Prairie police officers, one with our community.
Welcome back. And as many of you may have seen, Epic Central is having some new development. Here to tell us what's going on is Andy Henning. Andy, what is going on with the city's top tourist destination?
Absolutely. So it's a very exciting time. We're preparing for our large Epic Central destination environment. And we're really excited to really kind of get this thing underway. We've been prepping for several years now, and the good news is that we've removed a portion of Esplanade. We're starting to prepare the soils. We're relocating utilities, and really just preparing everything to start our next phase of building. We're hoping to kind of have the work that we're doing right now done by the end of the year, and then first of the year we'll start kind of coming up out of the ground with some of the hotels, restaurants, the other things that we're doing out in that area.
How is the pandemic affecting development?
So the pandemic has definitely impacted us. The good news, though, is that we continue to move forward with the design on all of the environment's destination spaces, and we will hopefully have the financing market back in place by the first of the year, which will allow us to progress with the hotels.
Does the city own the land, or do the businesses?
So we are, the good news is we're definitely we remain owners of all of the land. We are actually constructing some of the waterfront restaurants, and we will own those buildings. We will have third-party operators. The hotels, we will have a third-party operator and be partially involved in that. But then the convention center, which is a very important part of this entire project, is something that we will own solely.
We just announced that Chicken and Pickle is coming here. Andy, I want to know everything about it.
Chicken and Pickle will, it'll really entail this fantastic wood-fired chicken recipes, lots of great sides, just a really interesting, unique restaurant experience. The bonus is that it comes with this entertainment destination as a part of it. It has pickleball. The game of pickleball is becoming incredibly popular. And we are going to have a facility that has 6 indoor courts, 5 outdoor courts, of which 2 of them will be covered. And they also have just a bunch of really fun space, like a space that they call the yard. It'll have other games like the bags game, giant Jenga, a life-size battleship game. I mean, all kinds of really fun, cool family destination type spaces. So everybody, needs to get their pickleball game in shape and get ready for some really great food and entertainment out there.
Thank you, Andy, for that update. And when we come back, we'll be talking about Children First. We're back, And now we're going to talk about how COVID-19 has affected nonprofits. Darcy Harris is here from Children First. Darcy, how is the pandemic affecting your organization?
We've actually done very well considering, there are many foundations and nonprofits that actually haven't survived COVID, so we're very grateful to continue to serve our community. We are seeing only about half of the clients that we're offering telehealth services so that we can social distance, and unfortunately for some people telehealth is not an option, either because they have had to give up their Wi-Fi, an internet service, or they just don't have the proper situation at home, may even possibly be in a household with an abuser and just don't have enough privacy for it. But the great thing is that the people that have been taking advantage of it, like I said, which is about 50% of our normal service right now, they are more consistent than when we have on-site services. So they're benefiting a lot from telehealth. And we expect that now that children are getting back to school, and once they kind of settle into that, we're going to start getting the usual referrals that we normally see when school starts back up, and probably really a strong influx because the children have been isolated. Some have been at home with abusers or in a tense situation where domestic violence is present. And so, we expect that this is going to have a major impact on children's mental health and adults. So we're expecting as society opens back up that we will have a very large influx.
Darcy, how will you be handling your annual Little Lunch of Hope?
Oh, we have a great plan. We consider our event, our annual luncheon, to be the most fun fundraiser in town, and I think most people agree. And this year we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. Who would have thought we'd have such a milestone during a pandemic? But we're going to make it fun anyway. We're going to do it drive-through style. This is actually going to be in the parking lot of Texas Roadhouse. The Madranos have graciously allowed us to use that space and offered us the voucher situation so that people can come back at any time they want to have that great steak dinner. And we're going to keep our most popular features of our usual event. We're going to have our annual Spooky Duck grab bags, which are a huge hit year after year, for $25, which is $10 less than our usual ticket price. We're going to drop back to $25 to celebrate our 25th anniversary, and our guest will receive a voucher for a steak meal at Texas Roadhouse, and some other goodies, and a raffle ticket. And then we will also have the Spooky Ducks available for sale, and we will also, of course, accept gifts of hope as we do each year at the luncheon. We're going to try to handle registration all online up front. People can call in if they want to, if they're not comfortable using the internet site. We will take their information over the phone or by email, and we will just have everything we can. We'll have prepaid up front so that the line moves smoothly and people have a very enjoyable experience. We're gonna have sponsors just like we always do, and we'll even have our costume contest. So we'll have a tent. Everything's going to be safe and socially distanced, and we'll have a costume contest tent set up where we will have a great photographer snap their pictures, and we will post them all online, and we will announce the winner virtually.
What about the car show that Children First does every year with the Grand Prairie Police?
I have less information about that. Just recently, that has been put on hold. It conflicted with another important event in town, and so we're just going to let the police department figure that out. They always do such an amazing job with the car show, and we couldn't be more grateful for the help that Chief Cesney and his team do. They just do a remarkable job, and it's so nice when someone else is doing the heavy lifting and we get to benefit.
I understand that Children First is buying the former KKDA radio station building. How is fundraising going for the new building?
Very well, actually. We would not have chosen to do a capital campaign in the midst of a pandemic. There are so many urgent needs right now, and we're very fortunate that those people who are grateful that they still have income and are not hurting because of COVID are remaining very generous. And we actually just yesterday received a very important gift because we exceeded the 50% mark on our fundraising. And that was a special goal because there are large foundations that will not even accept an application or a proposal for funding until you have raised 50% on your own. So we have had, we're at the $392,000 mark of $750,000 goal. And we are so lucky. We received our seed money from the Nicholas Foundation here in town. That was a $100,000 gift. And then we have another longtime friend in a local foundation who gave us another $100,000. And just yesterday, we received word that Stan Graff of Graff Chevrolet has pledged $100,000 toward this project, and we just couldn't be more thrilled. My feet have barely touched the ground since getting that news. When it's completed, what it offers us is 2,600 more square feet than we have here, which allows us to expand, to even add programming.
For those who don't know, Darcy, tell us what Children First does in our community.
I'm always happy to talk about Children First and what it means to our community to have us here. As you know, mental health has really been in the news a lot lately, partly because COVID has created a pressure cooker, and it's an election year, and it's there are social issues right now that are creating a lot of tension in society, and so now more than ever we've got to be ready to deliver really proven counseling methods. We do evidence-based therapies such as trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. We do regular CBT also. Play therapy is an evidence-based model also. And we have a holistic approach to the problem of family violence and abuse. We offer BIP classes, which stands for Batterer Intervention and Prevention. So we try to handle this issue from a victim standpoint as well as a perpetrator standpoint, but never in the same room at the same time. They have separate programs. But we help children that are having behavioral problems in school, or right now children are just experiencing a lot of fear and uncertainty, and and they've been isolated from their friends, so they're experiencing a lot of difficult things to deal with. And the parents have my extreme empathy. I look back to when my children were young, and I can't even imagine trying to possibly work from home while also homeschooling children online. And I would just think, and especially if you throw, somebody that's out of work and feeling very stressed into the mix because money is an issue, then you've got a real pressure cooker situation there. And I just feel for everyone that's experiencing anything of that degree. And there are a lot of people in that situation.
Thank you, Darcy, and thank you all for watching. And as always, it's happening in Grand Prairie.